Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Um, I hope you can all hear me. I have a other mic. If you can't hear me, let me know, but it should all be good. As usual, if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the YouTube comment box and not on Discord. So that way I will be able to answer all the questions quickly. So without further ado, let's get to it. I've been working out a new Bitcoin strategy, a new setup, and I've pretty much figured it out. We will go over the Wyckoff method today. If you're not familiar with Wyckoff, I will link some educational material after this live stream. Basically, what it comes down to is that the pattern I have marked out here is an accumulation pattern based off the Wyckoff strategy. Um, let's get into it. Before we start, I'd like to make sure everyone, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. It would help me a lot. We're going to start off with a Bitcoin chart on the daily. That way we can keep a clear oversight of everything that has happened and that is happening. Um, let's go over phase A, B, C, and D one by one so I can explain what this all means. Obviously, we're going to start at the very start, phase A. Phase A is usually marked by the setting of a PS, and a PS means preliminary support. In short, this is an area where buying begins to provide, substantial support after a prolonged down move. So basically, this means in short that after a very bearish move, you begin to see some kind of volume, a couple of buys. Basically the price is slowing down, not moving down as fast as before. That's what PS stands for in short, preliminary support. You can see that preliminary support is also marked in the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. After preliminary support, we have the selling climax. You can probably guess by the name that this means that this is the point where most sells will be made. Basically, everyone will be panicking here, selling off their stacks, and you can see this in the volume. You can see this massive volume candles on the daily. There were about 6 of them, 6 big candles, whereas in the previous sell-offs there were maybe only 2. In short, selling climax, the point at which widening spread and selling pressure usually climaxes, and heavy or panicky selling by the public is being absorbed by larger professional interests at or near a bottom. Often price will close well off the low in an SC, reflecting the buying by these large interests. And as you can see, there is a pretty big wick here, and we can mark this off as the selling climax. This was the point where everyone panicked, sold off their coins if they didn't know what they were doing. After the selling climax, we come to the automatic rally. It speaks for itself. An automatic rally is a rally that occurs after the selling climax. Often you will find that things are oversold, and you will find this in the RSI, Relative Strength Index. You can see that at this point, the daily was oversold quite heavily, whereas in the preliminary support, there was no oversold on the daily. This triggers an automatic bull reaction, which can be seen in the price. Basically, it recovered for about 95% in the time span of 2 weeks. In short, automatic rally, which occurs because intense selling pressure has greatly diminished. A wave of buying easily pushes the price up. This is further fueled by short covering. The high of this rally will help define the upper boundary of an accumulation TR, and we will come into that later. So we have the selling climax. One second. Just have to fix my mic, I believe. Okay, so let's get to it. After the automatic rally, we come to the secondary test, and secondary test should speak for itself. This will be the second test of the selling climax. This is supposed to hold and should not go much lower than the selling climax itself. In short, secondary test in which price revisits the area of the selling climax to test supply-demand balance at these levels. If a bottom is to be confirmed, volume and price should be significantly diminished as the market approaches support. This can be confirmed. You will see that the volume in the secondary test is far lower than the volume in the selling climax. So we can confirm this as a secondary test, and you will see that the price soon recovered and started to push upwards quite a bit. Then we come to the part which we are hopefully selling right now, which is the spring. In short, the spring, should break previous support levels. The spring is supposed to break through these, set a lower low, but after which it should quickly recover back above support. Now we are currently forming the spring. I don't know how much longer this will take. If we zoom in, you will see that currently we are in a price action level that is lower than the secondary test. So in essence, this could potentially count as a spring, although I would personally prefer to visit the 6,000 or 5,800 levels and then push back up above support. And I forgot to mark something, I believe. I forgot to mark an LPS, as it is called. Let me just fix this real quick. LPS. 16. There we go. Okay, next, LPS. Not very difficult either. Last point of support, the low point of a reaction or pullback after a sign of strength. And a sign of strength, I didn't really mark it, but a sign of strength is basically where the price broke through support, but quickly recovered back above support and managed to set a high equal to the previous short-term high or above it. That's basically what a sign of strength is in short. Then we come to the LPS. Last point of support, the low point of a reaction or pullback after a sign of strength. Backing up to an LPS basically means a pullback to support that was, formerly resistance. So we broke down. This turned into resistance. The price should go back up as I have marked it here, and that will turn this whole area back into support. Now, that would complete phase C. After phase C is completed, we should be getting another sign of strength. And the sign of strength in this case should be the breaking of the automatic rally high. So the level of 11,500, which I've said plenty of times, is a very important level. This level should be broken, and price should make another test. What I mean with this is above the previous high, after which the price should retest the level of 11,500, and after which basically the Wyckoff accumulation phase should be complete, and we can start back, basically to moon on our way to 30,000 USD. It sure looked like this is going to happen. This also coincides with the broken triangle that I've drawn on my previous videos. I'm just going to remove this, clear this up a little bit. If you want to reanalyze this, you can watch it all back later. So now I'm just going to remove the Wyckoff, and we're gonna go look at Fibonacci levels, RSI, and all that stuff. In short, it does make a lot of sense to me that we broke out on the downside of this symmetric triangle. What more perfect catalyst could there be that everyone here is panicking? You know, because if you've checked Twitter, you will see that a lot of people are salty, losing money and selling stuff. There's a massive short buildup happening here. If we go to BTC longs versus shorts and Datamish, you will see that shorts are almost overtaking longs. Now, the last time shorts overtook longs was right here. And you will see that this in turn resulted into a massive green candle, basically 20% move up, if I remember correctly. Just going to measure it. A 20% move up within 4 hours. This was all due to shorts that were being liquidated. And if we go to the daily, you will see that currently Bitcoin once again is oversold, or it was oversold. For the past 2 or 3 years, every time Bitcoin was oversold, and I'm just going to zoom in quite heavily for this. I'll just mark this oversold right here. Basically, Bitcoin mooned 500%, and then it became oversold again, went up another 200%, oversold again. This time it was after the December-January dump. So it took a while to get oversold again, mainly because of this massive bull run right here. But we did end up getting oversold, which in turn resulted into a 100% price increase. Same story like a month ago, not quite oversold, but still a 60% price increase. Currently, we are oversold again. And I think this in turn will cause another bullish reaction by Bitcoin, even though it has been, slowed down a bit. I expected a reaction sooner, so maybe today or a couple days ago, but traditionally Sunday is the day that stuff goes down and sets the trend for the week. So I do expect a bullish reaction here, which, with Wyckoff out of the consideration, we already covered Wyckoff, but just this wedge, if we could make a fake out on the bottom side here and re-enter the wedge, that would be an extremely bullish sign. This would mean to me that the bears have lost control over the market and the bulls will regain control, at least until the level of 11,500. And this, of course, will be a key level. If the bears regain control here, I do expect a massive dump back to 3,000 or possibly even 2,000. Some people might be saying that the wedge is broken and that the price is likely to retest the wedge. And I'm just going to take my Fibonacci retracement tool, draw this one out, and let's just measure the last move over here. I'm going to zoom in to the 4 hourly because we're going to be a little bit more short term. Trend line, there we go. I see a bear case here, and that is, of course, if we do not manage to break the 618 Fibonacci retracement, which is currently sitting at 7,100 or 7,000 for a convenience psychological level, of course. In that case, I will become more bearish. I am 99% confident that we will have to retest the 7,000 level. But this should be the spring, so we should push past the 7,000 level in order for the bulls to regain control. If we don't manage to do that, then I think things will start to look a little bit more grim, and the Wyckoff could end up being invalidated altogether. So let's surely hope that this won't happen. I'll obviously keep you guys updated, but it is always a possibility. TA is not predicting the future, it's just predicting different possibilities and the likelihood of them happening. So the way I use it, for example, if I think there's like a 60% chance of Bitcoin regaining controls to the bulls and 40% to the bears, I will bet bullish, but it doesn't mean that the bears will not win. In fact, it's just a probability calculator altogether. I'd like to take a look at two more coins. One of them is obviously Ethereum. Ethereum usually sets a trend for the overall alt market sentiment. As I've said in my previous videos, I will be damned if I sell Ethereum. I bought Ethereum at 400 USD, which in my personal opinion is sitting at the by far largest support Ethereum has to offer. If we break this level, and you can see that we have tested this level quite some times, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you will see that this obviously is the most important level for Ethereum. If we break it, I do expect a massive, massive dump, in which case I will be selling all my Ethereum, even my cold storage. The level I do see accumulation happening in that case will be 300 to 200 USD. I don't think this will happen, obviously, as I've said before, but it's always a possibility. I also like to go to the logarithmic scale for Ethereum, so we can have a closer look at the short term. Doesn't really look like much, in my opinion, but we might have a potential descending wedge forming here. Can't be sure until we're sure. This wedge should not break support. I will just mark support in green, 400 USD. If we do break out of this wedge, then the next target for me personally will be the 618, currently situated at 1000 USD, which makes for a nice psychological level as well for a strong level on a TA basis, given that for about 1 to 2 weeks, this level was vigorously tested. Eventually, it gave way, sadly, and it was retested once again as resistance. And I think this is a key level for Ethereum to break. So once we do break this wedge, personally, I will be taking a swing position. I will enter the market probably on margin and try to hit this target of 1000 USD. In the long term, I'm a little bit more bullish about Ethereum. 2100 USD will be my target, but of course, this entirely depends on what Bitcoin is going to give us in the coming months. There's two possibilities. As far as I'm concerned, either Bitcoin will give us shit the rest of the year, or it will reverse this month. So in order for the Wyckoff to be valid, Bitcoin cannot stay below support for another month or two. It just has to drop. Bulls have to regain control, get back above support. If this doesn't happen in a relatively short time span of 1 or 2 weeks, then Wyckoff will be invalidated. In case you missed it, in case you just tuned in, make sure to rewatch this because I do an extensive analysis of Bitcoin based on the Wyckoff method. I will link this in the description of my video, just 1 second, so you guys can go over it once I'm finished. I just linked it. is there any questions as far as Ethereum and Bitcoin go? If there is, make sure to post them. I'm just going to do one more analysis on trade token because this thing is in absolute beast mode. I'd like to analyze this on the 4-hour charts. I think everyone can see what is happening here. This doesn't have to be a long analysis. Trade token is currently forming a ascending triangle. This is more often than not a bullish pattern. It can be a bearish pattern, so there is of course a chance of breaking to the downside, but the way this looks to me right now, this won't happen anytime soon. The exchange is about to be launched. The liquidity pool is about to be launched. There's loads of airdrops upcoming for trade token. If you don't know what it is, I do suggest to look it up. I will post a link after my video. So give me 30 seconds after I finish this, and I will post for you guys the link to check it out. My target for this one is 10x. So that would mean that my target is sitting at 80,000 Satoshis, which is up here. Now, just for your perspective, let me remove the lock scale. This is more a fundamental call than it is a TA call. Trade.io is going to be a new exchange, as well as a liquidity pool. They are currently working on getting a Swiss banking license. They are a Swiss exchange, and obviously this will give them a mass of opportunities. Furthermore, they have partnered with FX Primus, which will give us the ability to trade stocks and bonds, futures with crypto in the end. That's their goal. Obviously right now this won't happen, but that's their goal, and I do believe they can achieve it because they do have a solid team. They've raised a lot of money. They are working with some great projects. I'd like to notice though, this is not a paid review. This is just my opinion, as it was with EOS or Lux or whatever. And personally, I will put a lot of faith in this coin. For the shorter term, things are also looking pretty good. If you like to have some short-term targets, my target for this week or maybe in 2 weeks will be 11,000 or rather 10,000 Satoshis. So that's my alt pick for today. That's a good question. Is TIO on any good exchange? And the answer is yes, and that's one of the reasons I'm so super excited. Trade.io can be compared with KuCoin shares, for example, or Binance Coin. Now, you will see that this thing went from 40 million all the way up to a 1.7 billion market cap. Basically, this means it went from 50 cents to $17, $20, which is a 40x increase. So my 10x increase is a little bit, carefully estimated. KuCoin shares are only on KuCoin. Now, if we go to trade token, you will see that this thing is on Bitforex. It's on KuCoin. It's on OKX. It's on HitBTC. And, these are all big volume exchanges. If we open them up, you will see that, Bitforex has 52 million volume, KuCoin 22 million, OKX almost a billion, HitBTC 300 million, and soon, of course, this will also be launched on the Trade.io exchange itself, giving it access to a lot of volume, which in turn it will need, to moon, like I do expect it to moon. So I think this will be one of the top performers for this year. 10x for me is carefully estimated, and I'm pretty confident we can hit this target, no problem at all. So yeah, that's it. I will be doing a private live stream for my Discord group tomorrow. Um, I'm just going to throw you guys an invite for my Discord group in case you are not on there yet. Give me one quick second. It's free to be there, so no reason not to do it. I will put this in the description as well. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you guys, aren't wrecked too much from the bear markets. It's a difficult time, but I do believe it will soon be over. I wish you all happy trading and have a great week, guys. Thanks.